Hey guys, have you ever want to see Superman going off against the Homelander? How about Wonder Woman going up against Red Sonja? No, you didn't? Well, too bad you're getting it this week. And that's what we're talking about the first installment, the first segment of this week's Guiding Lines. Hope it didn't scare you. Please stick around. All right, everybody, how you doing? I have a whole bunch of new subscribers. I hope that you are perusing the other stuff of this. This might be like your second or third video that you're watching on here. Thank you. Hi, stick around. I give you a brief rundown about this. If you're new here, please, if you like what you see, like it. If you want to see more of it, subscribe. If you have anything to say or make a comment about it, even if it's contradictory, please be gentle and nice. Because, yeah, you're stupid. Yeah, I know. But tell me why I'm stupid so I can learn and not be stupid anymore. How about that? Put it in the comments. For those of you who are new here, this is my look at the forthcoming new releases for next week. This is going to be the releases for Wednesday, February 4th, 2025. I'm going to give it, I kind of do a week beforehand and set it on Friday so you could plan your weekend accordingly. I know some places get their comic books in on the weekend, and sometimes they might give you them early and not tell anybody or whatever. Or you might, be the person who gets there at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. I want to make sure you're prepped and ready to get that kind of like book that you want. And hopefully you could be inspired by some of this. It's typically broken down into about 5 installments, and not all 5 installments appear every week. The first one is Big Book of the Week. It's usually like the book I think is the most important, or I could talk the most about. Let's be honest. Sometimes I don't have one of these. There's been 3 weeks when I haven't had this, but most times that leads off the video. Then I go over all the new issues and new series that are starting. Then I go on the final issues, the series that are coming to an end. Then I do issues of note. This is not a regular feature. It comes and goes when I have something to talk about. Basically, it's a comic book that doesn't fit in any of the other categories that I think you might need to know about. Just give you a little heads up about it. Like a couple weeks ago, I did Love and Rockets coming back, being published, because it's been a while since it's been on stands. Just give you like a heads up. Hey, it's back. And finally, I wrap it up with facsimiles at the end. I give you a rundown. Facsimile is like the least kind of like intensive. I just give you, hey, we're doing facsimile for this issue. You're gonna have the facsimile, foil, sketch, and go on to the next one. So don't expect a lot of detail in that segment. That's our winding down, having a cup of tea before we end our workday kind of thing. Inside each of these subsegments, there's also a thing I like to call "Let's try this again." What this is basically to explain to new people, and I apologize if you already know this. I'm almost done, so I say fast forward, but you don't have to. But it's basically stuff I've already covered in this series before. I covered it either 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, or even like almost a year ago, and it still hasn't come out, but it's still being solicited. So instead of going through the whole rigmarole, you'll see like I have a whole lineup of like covers and tell you the variants and who did the artwork, how much it's going to cost, and all that kind of stuff. Instead of doing that every week, because sometimes like these are delayed and they're solicited every week afterwards, I'm just going to give you like, hey, this is the title, this is the publisher, and this is the date I covered which I covered it for. If you want to go back through the whole back stacks of Guiding Lines and look for them, more power to you. All right, everybody good? Everybody up there? Hope everybody comes back there. Hope I haven't lost anybody. If I did, come back. You can't hear me. But let's start off with, as we do most times, the Big Book of the Week. I had a lot of options this time, and most of the options were from Dynamite, which I don't really rely on that much, and other stuff were kind of like from publishers that don't have a good track record of putting their books out on time. I'm kind of like once bitten, twice shy kind of guy, So those don't get it. DC usually has a good record with it, and therefore and forthwith, it gives me the opportunity to complain about the DC KO miniseries again. Because this week is the debut, I believe it's a one-shot, of the DC KO Boss Battle #1. $4.99 for 40 pages, and like I said, it's going to be a one-shot. Written by Jeremy Adams. It's going to have a number of artists. Artists include Carmine Diagimenico, Roman Cliquet, or Cliquet, I don't know how you pronounce that, Kieran McCune, and Pablo M. Collar. Covers will be by Hi-Fi, and the cover will be by Jamal Campbell. Basically, this is the whole, all the heroes are fighting against heroes from other properties that they promised. Yes, you will see Superman facing off against Homelander, which I would believe would be a great series if it maybe was published by Dynamite and in conjunction with DC Comics and had, like, say, Garth Ennis and Derek Robinson, the creative team on it, and devote, like, maybe an issue or 4 or 5 to it. Here, you're not going to get the kind of satisfying chunk of the story that you deserve from that kind of meetup. Same with, it looks like on the cover, Annabelle's facing off against a Joker. That would be an interesting story if it had room to develop and breathe. You're not going to get it here. In 48 pages, I believe it may be 48 pages. You're not going to get that much time devoted to each of these battles. And these are like this is just it's typical of the problems I have with this entire series, and a lot of people love it. And I know it. I'm sorry. It's just from the get-go. This seems to be kind of like a book that's written by, Williamson and Snyder's groins instead of their heads. Yeah, man, wouldn't it be cool to see Homelander fight up against Superman and just beat each other? Who cares about the storyline? Because, this is, DC Hero has this flimsiest storyline imaginable, and they have already contradicted the rules they set out for this. Now, I've read the first couple issues of this. I haven't, I'm falling behind on comic books I want to read, so I haven't read all of this. But it started off with being like, Darkseid's coming. In a week, he's going to destroy the entire DC universe. And the only way you can do this is go into this combat, where you combat against yourself, a combat to the death. Only it's not to the death, not always. Captain Atom went through time, and he seemed to be alive during the process, but yeah, one rule kind of contradicted at the get-go. And each battle you get more and more of the anti-life energy, or whatever the MacGuffin is called, so you could build up to become the ultimate champion to go up against Darkseid. And when you beat him, you can come there and you'll have the power to redo the world in however you feel it needs to be. And all the people you killed with your bare hands will be coming back to life. And that's great. So, it's kind of, I kind of knew from the get-go, Superman is not going to could probably kill anybody here. Responsibility for powers are not at all taken care of. They also brought in the whole thing like, okay, it's going to be a 3-round fight in a 32-page book. And, you'll just be able to pick which installment you want. Superman wants to be the blue electric Superman. Superman could be the blue electric Superman. Could he be the Superman from the DC 1 million crossover? Yeah, sure, why not? Does he want to be, say, like, the Golden Age Superman, or whatever? Yeah. Captain Atom, does he want to be the Monarch, which he turned into eventually? I guess. Yeah, he could be that guy if he wants to. Which is another kind of kind of like script writing, because it's like, how does this make sense? How is this happening? How could they actually do this? It's never explained. It's just, they're here. Pick your fighter. They made it into basically a Street Fighter game, but Street Fighter games and Mortal Kombat games have more plot and more kind of thought put into it. Which brings me to this one shot. This one shot exists to have people from outside the DC comic realities to come in. Sabrina the Teenage Witch is going to be in this. Vampirella is going to be in this. the bear from Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees is in this. How did she make the cut? I don't know. From what I heard, it's a great series. I'd like to check it out at some point. Maybe if I, catch up with my books, I might see if I can find it in trade. Okay, whatever. Sub-Zero. And I think Scorpion is in this from the Mortal Kombat, as I mentioned earlier. And the pre-aforementioned Homelander and Annabelle and Red Sonja. And they're coming in, and from what I understand, none of the rights holders are getting really a big, like money thrown to them because of this. They're not getting a part of the box office. They're not doing anything like that. They're just having the exposure. And granted, I think Mortal Kombat is owned by Warner Brothers, as is DC, and so on and so forth. Annabelle, no, is definitely owned by Warner Brothers. So those are kind of like a handshake deal in the hallways of your corporate headquarters kind of team up. But that is why do we have to fight all these people? Because there's not enough of the kickapoo juice that they need to get inside themselves to fight Darkseid. For some reason. Why? I have no idea. Why? Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why it is? Do you want to know the reason is? Because they wanted to have Superman fight against Homelander. That's why. That's the only reason this plot point exists. There is no reason other than this. If they couldn't get the rights to these people, or have the agreement to have these people coming in and having them actually fight in this little one-shot, that plot point won't exist. I guarantee you that. And that's just what irritates me about this. It's just it's a prefab, postfab kind of construction about this. They put much thought about making this miniseries, this event, as I do when I decide who to root for in WrestleMania or at the Royal Rumble. Arbitrary decisions, usually motivated by bestial lizard brain kind of decisions, and people like that. And more power to it, but this is I just can't. It irritates me. I expect better from DC Comics and of the creators involved. And if you disagree with me, please respectfully call me on the carpet in the comments. We could have a discussion about it. Maybe try to convince me. I know there's a certain amount of these are just tuning your mind off and just enjoying the carnage. I prefer my carnage to have a little more of a logic behind it. Or stronger logic. Let's say there's any logic. All right, there will be 7 other covers for this issue. Cover B by Derek Robinson. Cover C by Patrick Horvat. He's the man who does the Under Trees Where Nobody Sees. I'm sure he's doing the variant cover that features Samantha. I believe it's the bear's name. Cover D, Frank Cho. I imagine he's probably going to be drawing the Wonder Woman facing off against either Vampirella or Red Sonja or both. There's about 6 good reasons I could figure why he'd be drawing that. Well, 9 if you count the... Never mind. All right. Cover E will be by Jeffrey Spokes. It's going to be a wraparound cover. Cover F will be by Gleb Melnikoff. It's going to be an AEW tie-in. There's also going to be another number one. I almost did this one but I'll talk about that when we get to it. AEW is the Wrestling Federation. That is the competition to the WWE. It has stars like Kenny Omega and MJF and a bunch of ones. It's aired weekly on the Warner Brothers own networks, TNT and I believe TBS. So that explains that crossover now, doesn't it? And cover G will be a wraparound foil of the Jeffrey Spokes cover. And cover H will be blank. So you could have your favorite artist draw, maybe instead of seeing Superman going against the Homelander, you want him to punch Annabelle in the face. Now you can. All right, now we're going to go into new series. All right, we're going to start out with Dynamite. And Dynamite is chock full with books that could possibly, I would have considered to be the big book of the week. However, I did that once, and the book did not come out on the week it was supposed to. It came out a couple weeks later. So I dedicated that spot to a book that I could have dedicated to somebody else that actually did come out. And, I know my reach is kind of tiny and kind of small. But it's like if I'm influencing people to go out to the comic shop and look for a book that I'm really excited about, and it doesn't come out, I look foolish, Dynamite looks foolish, and they feel foolish by asking for it because it's not there. So Dynamite will probably never get to be a big book a week again, and it's a shame because, like I said, there's a couple books that might have to do this. But then again, Dynamite. Let's go in here with the first one, which is Thundar the Barbarian, #1. $4.99 for 40 pages, written by Jason Aaron, one of my favorite authors in the entire world, and he seems to be in his do whatever the freak I want kind of like mindset when it comes to his writing. Like, yeah, I'm going to do a miniseries for Uncle Scrooge, and then, you know what, I'm going to hop over to Dynamite and do a miniseries for Thunder the Barbarian, and you're not going to say it because I'm Jason Aaron, and I'm like, whoo, 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 you go, Jason, man. You do whatever you want because you deserve it. He's going to be joined on art by Kuber Ball, and the cover will be by Michael Cho. This, of course, is the classic, I believe, Hanna-Barbera cartoon that was, I believe, developed, at least in part, if not in whole, by Jack Kirby when he's working in animation. It looks like a sword and sorcery stuff, but it features a lot of interesting characters. Thundar himself, I believe, is a barbarian, kind of like Conan, and they live in like kind of a weird science fantasy kind of world. This was before my time, I believe, or after my time. I don't remember really watching it as much. It sort of came on like around when I was about prime Saturday morning cartoon watching age. I just either didn't like it or I liked whatever's airing against it better. But nonetheless, it is a legendary kind of touchstone show for a lot of people. And you can see when I get into the voluminous amount of variant covers, you'll see exactly like the creators they have doing this are creators who don't usually work for Dynamite, don't usually do variant covers for Dynamite, but you realize they're probably doing the variant covers because they love the concept. I'm looking at you, Rob Liefeld. Let me talk about Dynamite and the variant covers. If this is your first time, this is going to be all fresh and new to you. Those of you who have been here before have heard me complain and whine about the numerous amount of variant covers that Dynamite puts out for all their books. They're doing some other stuff here that's even especially goofy and daffy. This book has 22 variant covers. 22. Now, granted, one of them is a retail exclusive for Rob Liefeld's Creations. I believe that's his web shop. It's going to be a version of one of his covers that he already did. But nonetheless, that's a punitive amount of that. And they do it all the time. And like a couple months ago, they were facing not making a paycheck, their payroll, because they're caught unawares by the whole diamond debacle, and have, I guess they're done picking up the pieces because they're going back to the same kind of trap they did before. Like for a while they're having a reasonable amount of variant covers, like maybe 5 each for each category, and 10 tops, and that is a reasonable number and stuff like this. This one is like punitive. If you're a fan of Thunder the Barbarian and you want to get every single thing on this, the open orders alone, there's 12 open orders. So you have to pay, at least $60 on top of like the $5 you're buying for the main issue, just to get these. But one of them is a metal variant. I think metal variants go up to like $100. So you're going to have to actually spend like almost $200 to get all the variant covers on just the open order ones. And that's not counting the incentive ones that are more expensive. And no, Dynamite, I don't believe Dynamite gets the money partially from this, I imagine, from the metal one, because, but like the incentives, I guess, they I don't know how the financial structure works about when they sell this. If they have to make money for them at least a little bit. But do they make money when they have this many? Like, what if one doesn't sell at all? What if one, you spend all the money making the metal ones and you only sell one? You spend like $2,000 making the metal books, and like I guess it has to do with pre-order and like they print on demand and they know how many of them to publish before they actually put them out there. I don't know. It's just it just boggles the mind. And like Dynamite has a lot of good properties and they do a lot of good work. They have the boys. Speaking of Homelander, I like to see them not do stuff that'll cause them to be in a panic in the future about meeting payroll. It seems like they're making the same mistakes they made beforehand, expecting like the results are going to be different in case like whoever they're being distributed by. I think it's Lunar goes under, and that's always a possibility in this with this tariffs and economy and whatnot. But let me go into the variant covers. I already told you the retail exclusive, so I'm not going to cover that. But they're going to the 12 open order covers. There's going to be a cover B by Francesco Mattina. Cover C will be Bjorn Behrens. Cover D will be by Joseph Michael Linzer. Cover E will be the first of 2 Rob Liefeld variant covers. See what I said? I think Rob might like the Thunder the Barbarian, and more power to him. Cover F will be a Michael Cho foil. Cover G will be a blank Authentics. It's going to be a white blank Authentics. I say that not because I'm a racist, because it's going to become important in a couple issues. Cover H will be a Joseph Michael Linzer Atlas variant. Cover I will be a blind bag. This is another thing here, and it'll come in really in a couple issues. Every one of these have blind bags, where you can put in there and you can guess what exactly is going to be in there. You could like hopefully pull it and send it out of. And I opened in a video earlier a Supernatural and a Maleficent blind bag. It seems you get like a sketch cover, a blank cover that you could get a sketch on, and there were the oversized one. We get 3 in it. One was a foil, and one was a black and white kind of variant, which is interesting and kind of cool if you like that kind of stuff. But if you don't, they're going to give it to you anyway. And that's a little teaser for something that's coming up in about four issues from now. All right, cover J will be a Michael Cho Metal Virgin. Cover K will be a Michael Cho Virgin. Cover T will be the orange blank Authentics. This is why I said the first one was white. This is orange, so you could get orange, which, as you know, is the color of Thundar the Barbarian. I never realized that, but I guess it is. And cover Y will be the second of the Rob Liefeld variants, and I think this is the one that's going to be the Virgin for his web store. So there'll be 9 incentive covers. Cover L, 1 in 10 by Michael Cho, foil Virgin. Cover M will be a 1 in 5 of the first Rob Liefeld cover in black and white. Cover N will be a 1 in 20 Michael Cho black and white variant. Cover O will be a 1 in 25 Joseph Michael Linzer Virgin variant. Cover P will be a 1 in 30 Michael Cho black and white Virgin. Cover Q will be a 1 in 40 Bjorn Behrens Virgin. Cover R will be a 1 in 50 Francesco Mattina Virgin. Cover S will be a 1 in 100 Michael Cho signed by Jason Aaron variant. I imagine every issue of that will have Jason Aaron's signature on it, which, if it sells millions, put on some compression sleeves, Jason, just so you don't blow out a hammy or a deltoid or whatever. I don't know what's in the arm. And cover V will be a 1 in 7 Jack Kirby model sheet Virgin. You'll be able to see the model sheets he used to sell the concept of Thundar to Hanna-Barbera. Next up is another kind of licensed tie-in, and also crossover with another company, which is weird. And I came like this close to picking this one here because it's two products I really like. But I kind of know people who work for Archie, and I know quasi know the vice president. Not that we're like golfing buddies or anything like that, but we say hi to each other and hey, we've seen some of the movies because we all because I live in Archie's headquarters area, and we see some of the movies and stuff like that. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Stuff like that. So like, I don't want to seem like I'm giving them the push in my paltry 60 viewer per week, or actually 20 viewer per week. Let me inflating my own ego, kind of thing like that. So I know it seems silly, but that's how I am. But the series in question, and I don't know if this is going to be a mini-series or one-shot. I couldn't find any information for any of the things except for obvious ones that are actually obviously one-shots online for these things. So I apologize. They might be ongoing series. They might be 6-issue limited series. They could be one-shots. They might not even come into exist at all. But this one's about Archie X, The Army of Darkness, number 1. $4.99 for 32 pages. Written by Eric Burnham. Art by Bill Galvin. And the cover will be by Robert Hack. It seems like it's being published by Dynamite, because it's in the Dynamite section of the League of Comic Geeks website, which I use to get all this information. But the artwork, at least the artists, are Archie artists. Basically, the principle about this is that Necromonicon, I hope I didn't massacre that, and I should throw in my Sam Raimi fan club badge for massacring that. I'll strip it back to you after I'm done doing this video. But comes somehow into Archie Andrews and Riverdale's hands. So Archie decides to read some pages from that, and as everybody knows, the Evil Dead movies, we all know that is not a great idea. So the Archie gang has to fight off against all the demons and ghoulies and zombies and undead, evil dead creatures coming at night. But luckily, it appears that Ash, once again, much to his chagrin, is going to be there to help him fight off these deadites. I just want to say, and like I said about this, Archie's not my favorite company. I don't want to give it an impression. I do like the people who work for it, as I said before. So take this with a grain of salt. This is not me trying to fluff up somebody I have some kind of financial stake in, or trying to fluff up people who I'm a deep personal friend of. But I do admire the way Archie treats its properties and characters. They're willing to, go out and do things that, really is outside of the norm, outside of what you would expect from an Archie comic book company to do. Team ups with the Ramones, teams up with Glee, teams up with Batman 1966. Veronica becomes Veronicabella, or Vampironica. Becomes a vampire. Jughead becomes a zombie. It's daring, and it's kind of pushes the boundaries of this stuff like this. Keeps them in the national eye. I really wish they'd do more independent books, but it looks like independent books are going to be licensed out to IDW. I don't know why. There's probably a reason for that. It's probably, makes more sense for them to do it than, let's for the bottom line. I don't know. Like I said, I know them casually to say hi. I don't know enough to say, hey, can I look at your business plans and your accounting ledgers for the last 2 years? I just want to see where all the money's going. So I don't know, what's going on with that. But nonetheless, they're willing to actually go crazy. Starting back with Archie meeting up with the Punisher leads us to this. So we could get this something that is just so goofy and so fun. And perfect man, because the Evil Dead franchise, especially from 2 onward, is one that is open for this kind of crossover, because it's kind of wacky, anything it goes. So this should be a fun crossover, I believe. I don't know, like I said, it could be a one shot, it could be 2 million issues, because I couldn't find out. But if you're a fan of either franchise, might be worth it checking out. Of course, Dynamite being Dynamite, we have 15 variant covers. 2 of them are blind bag outcomes, though, so they're not really available for you. They're more chase kind of covers. But let me go through the open orders first. Cover B will be by Bill Galvin. Cover C will be by Laura Braga. Cover D will be by Craig Cermak. Cover E will be by Stuart Sager. Cover F will be the blank Authentics version, so you could anybody you want to draw the Archie versus the Evil Dead. Cover G is blind bag. Again, it's listed as their blind bag variant. Cover H will be by Robert Hack, Metal Virgin. And cover I will be Robert Hack, Virgin. There'll be 5 incentives as well. Cover J will be a 1 in 10, Bill Gavin, black and white. Cover K will be a 1 in 15, Craig Cermak, Virgin. Cover L will be a 1 in 20, Bill Gavin, black and white, Virgin. Cover M will be a 1 in 30, Laura Braga, Virgin. And cover N will be a 1 in 40, Bill Gavin, Virgin. And there'll be special exclusives only to blind bags. sometimes they do this. They didn't do it, I guess, for the Thundar one, but they're doing it for the Archer one, I guess, to add a little spice to it. There'll be a special cover. Well, they're all cover cheese because that's blind bag. A Bill Galvin blind bag, and a Francesco Francavilla blind bag. So, if any of those are your favorite creators, maybe try to go with the blind bag instead of any of the other covers, and see what you could do. Just be careful reading it because you don't want to get those nasty spine ticks in it. All right, another licensed one coming up, and this is, I believe, definitely a one-shot because I don't think it has enough legs to be a regular ongoing series, and, it only has a couple weeks to actually be relevant as a mini-series, too. But it's Supernatural, Valentine's Day Special 2026, number 1, $5.99 for 40 pages, and it's going to be one-shot. It's written by Preeti Chhidar, Chhidder. I know what it sounded like when I said it, and I should have said it before I actually started filming this. So I apologize if that is not how you pronounce your name. I hate names. Art will be by Pasquale Colano, and cover will be by Cat Staggs. This has a relatively reasonable 7 variant covers between the two categories. It has 4 open order variants. Cover B by Reese Hannigan. Cover C by Megan Hetrick. Cover D by Pasquale Colano. And cover E will be a blind bag. Like I said, another blind bag. And there'll be 3 incentive covers. Cover F, a 1 in 10 of Reese the Hannigan cover in black and white. A 1 in 15 of the Reese Hannigan cover, black and white and virgin. And a 1 in 20 of the Cat Staggs cover. I believe it might be virgin. I didn't write it down, so I don't know. Next up is a new dimension that Dynamite is taking us in a means to complain about. Thundercats, Lost in Time, number 1. $5.99 for 40 pages. It looks like it's going to be a one-shot. Writing by Ed Brisson. Art by Chris Campagna. What? You're waiting for a cover artist for the main cover you could buy, right? You're waiting for that. You're not going to get one. Because this issue is only published in a blind bag format. Oh man, can you just imagine the horrors this could unleash upon the world if this becomes successful? Hey, I really want to buy the cover that has, Megan Hutchinson on it. I like her artwork. I think it's great. Oh wow, I'd really like to have the Dan Moore cover. Too bad. Buy as many blind bags as you can to possibly get that, because we're not giving it to you off the top of the head. You're going to have to buy numerous copies of this. Numerous copies you don't need nor want to get the cover that you want. I mean, yeah, it's like I have nothing really against variant covers. If people want to buy them, go right ahead. Just worried about the financial solvency of a company that was just a few months away from going out of business because they couldn't make payroll, and now they're putting out 5,000 variants for every cover. For me, not sound financial business, but I don't know the actual numbers. I don't know them at all, so I can't even ask them to look at their ledger sheets. But putting out a book that is exclusively in a blind bag seems cool on the the baseline kind of thing. That is just air of mystery kind of stuff. Just, and I don't mind that as an option. I've started covering blind bags here a little bit here and there. I got a couple of the Daredevil ones that are coming out in a couple of weeks, so I'll be able to open them because they seem to do very well on the site. But having that be your only option, and granted, they're secondary market because once they're open, if you don't want the cover, you're going to sell them on eBay or whatnot. So you could get the cover you want through that way, but you probably have it at a premium price. You probably pay more than $5.99 for it, and it's just it seems to be a pain. And there's 14 different variant covers you could possibly get out of these blind bags. So if you want to get all 14, granted you only have to pay $5.99 per issue, but then again, for 14, that's, let's see here, $84 before discount, unless you get a discount, just to get 14 bags. and that's no guarantee you'll be getting you'll probably get duplicate issues all the way along. You have to buy more bags to get issues that you're missing. And they don't tell you exactly how to distribute it in the bags, so I don't know if it's like 1 for 1, like if you get the first 14 bags of the thing, you're guaranteed to get. I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about this. I don't have a good feeling about Dynamite's offerings altogether. But that's just me. I'm a different breed of cat. All right, the covers you could possibly get in these blind bags are one by Alessandro Rinaldi. You also get a virgin version of that cover. This is going to be a trend. Stick with me. You'll get a blank Authentics. Yes, a blank cover as one of your variants. I got one of those in my Ultimate Endgame blind bags, and that I just, why? Cat Stags black and white. Cat Stags black and white virgin. Cat Stags regular. And Cat Stags virgin. Declan Shalvey black and white. Declan Shalvey regular. Declan Shalvey virgin. Enid Balam black and white. Enid Balam black and white virgin. Enid Balam regular. And Enid Balam virgin. So you basically have 4 artists doing anywhere from 3 to 4 copies, variants each. So, it's especially worse if you want to get just all the Cat Stags variants. Like, you only want to get the 4 books that they're offering there, and you have to keep on going through the blind bags and get Declan Shalvey. I don't want him. It's I don't know. I think it's a way for them making money, and I think it might blow up in their face. I don't know. I'm going to move on now. All right, next up we're going to DC, and for you new people also, wondering how I go through the whole lineup here, is that I go through the League of Comic Geeks lets you know what number ones are coming out. So I put that filter on, and they list all the companies in order of the number ones they have. Like Dynamite had 4. And you might say, I only heard you say 3. You only talked about 3. The 4th one was one that it was going to be in our Let's Try This Again segment, because it was scheduled twice before this. So that's why you might have ones that are... You might have somebody who only has 3 books ahead of somebody who's has 5 books, and you might wonder why. That's why. But I go in orders as how they are sorted on the League of Comic Geeks website by publisher with the most amount, and then if you have 6 people with 2 books, it's alphabetical. So I'm not trying to diss anybody on purpose by putting DC behind Dynamite, or did I put Dynamite beforehand because I like Dynamite better, or did I have more to talk about Dynamite, or any of that. It's just random by how it goes on the League of Comic Book Geeks. So I'm probably over-explaining that stuff that you don't even care about, but I care about it, and I want to make sure that you know that I'm not trying to, pull one over on you. All right, DC Comics has another one-shot. I think a couple weeks ago we had one romance-themed one-shot starring Supergirl as part of their providing holiday one-shots, as they are wont to do. This time her cousin has a chance. Now it's Superman. Chains of Love Special Number 1. $5.99 for 48 pages. It's going to be a one-shot. Written by Dan Slott and Leah Williams. Art by Ig Guerrara and Rosie Krapke. And covered by Yasmin Putri. I don't know if it's 2 different stories in this, or they're all of them collaborating on the same story. It didn't break it down into 2 stories, so you might not have a collaboration between Slott and Williams. It might be Slott doing a story and Williams doing a story, and artists broken down accordingly. There'll be 3 other covers to go along with this. Cover B by Juan Ferreira, Wraparound. Cover C by Ig Guerrara. And cover D by Mirko Andolfo. Remember I told you about AEW and explained to you basically about what it is? They're also having a team-up with DC. It's DC X AEW number 1. $4.99 for 32 pages, and it'll be a 2-issue series, because I can't imagine you to go more than that with the concept. Written by Steve Orlando, pencils by Travis Mercer, art by Travis Mercer, colors by Andrew Dahlhaus, letters by Josh Reed, and the cover by Lucas Meyer. Like I said, AEW is not owned by Warner Brothers, but they do have a agreement where the Warner Brothers stations, TNT and TBS, could air their weekly television shows. And as such, this is probably to have like a little in with like DC, which is still owned by, at least for the time being, Warner Brothers proper. So that's probably why this is happening together. It's not the first time wrestlers have appeared in comic books. It might be one of the first that they've actually teamed up with actual comic book characters, but yeah, it should be interesting to say. Although it's kind of like, I love MJF. I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's really good, and he's got a ring. But if he goes up against the DC character who has a ring, Green Lantern, like he's gonna lose. Although I'm like saying this is a bad thing. I think I might have put this on my pull list. I'm not sure because there could be a potential for a lot of good matchups. They didn't really tell much about this, but just to see MJF having a scene with Guy Gardner will be a hoot, depending on if it's written well. But nonetheless, we'll see that there's 5 other covers to support this. Cover B by Daniel Warren Johnson, a big wrestling fan. He's famous for the indie Image book Do a Powerbomb, which he did the writing and art on, and that's very wrestling intensive. If in case you couldn't tell by the Powerbomb in the title. Cover C will be by Edwin Gallman. Cover D will be a logo variant. I imagine it's going to be an AEW logo variant, but they didn't have a picture of it. So you can see up there's no picture of it. Cover E will be a Lucas Meyer foil variant, and cover F will be blank. So you could have your favorite artist draw Mercedes Moné however you want her. If she's still with AEW at the time this actually comes out. Alright, next up, Keen Spot. I'm going to start off with Super Thick Luckies, Tales number 1. Looks like it's going to be $7.99 for 48 pages. It is Keen Spot. They like overcharging for their books when they actually come out. We'll talk about that later, too. A little foreshadowing. Never hurt anybody. It'll be written and covered by Tim Seeley. He's going to be drawn and writing by Troy Dongara, Devin Lord, and Danny Harrell. There'll be 3 other covers to go along with this issue. Cover B by Paolo Seeley. Cover C will be by John Golden, and cover D will be Tony Dangora. I don't know what it's about. But apparently, there are people who know about this and are excited about it. So, ask around maybe. And also up, Outer Squad number 1. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is what you think he is. This is $5.99 for 32 pages. Again, excessive. Written by Matt Fife, and art and cover by Matt Rogers. There'll be 2 open order covers to go along with this. The cover B by Jay Hammond, and cover C that is blank. And there'll be 1 incentive. Cover D, a 1 in 50 by Matt Rogers. Alright, now we come to Marvel. Marvel also had a number of number 1s that could have possibly used as the big book of the week. None of them are quite as big as the whole intercompany crossover that was DC KO. Boss Battle. Starting off with Magic and Colossus, number 1. $4.99 for 32 pages, 5-issue limited series. Written by Ashley Allen. Art by Jermaine Peralta. Colors by Arthur Heisel, and the cover will be by David Nakayama. There will be 3 open order covers, Pablo Villalobos, Simone DeMeo, and 1 by Scotty Young. There will be 2 incentives, a 1 in 25 by Jacopo Camagni, and a 100 of the Pablo Villalobos cover by Virgin. And this one will have 3 retail exclusives. It's going to be the conglomerate that consists of 616 Comics, Comic Traders, and a Comic Elite. This is going to be a Godtail variant. He's going to have 3 variants. Variant A, Variant B, and Variant C. B and C are going to be Virgins, and C is a slightly different color palette than the other 2. So they're all by Godtail. There's minuscule difference between all 3 of them, and you can probably see them up there, so enjoy. And this, of course, is a replacement for a book that was operating before the whole Age of Revelation kind of thing, if it's in the X family. Another one is Storm. Storm had a book beforehand, and she's back with a new series now that kind of picks up after that. Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant, number 1. $4.99 for 32 pages. They say it's going to be an ongoing. It's going to be written by Miria Ayodele, art by Federica Manson, colors by Javier Totaglia, letters by Travis Lanham, cover will be by R.B. Silva on art and David Curell on colors. There'll be 4 open outer covers, one by D.K. Ruan, one by Ron Fugeri, Black Panther variant, a Marvel Cosmic Invasion variant, and a Pablo Villalobos variant. The 2 incentives will be a 1 in 25 Elizabeth Torque variant and a 1 in 100 Pablo Villalobos Virgin variant. Marvel, I guess, still has access to Godzilla and the license and stuff like this because they are doing a Godzilla Infinity War book, number 1. $5.99 for 32 pages. It's going to be a 5-issue limited series. Written by Jerry Dodson. Art by Ig Guerrar and Javier Garron. Colors by Jesus Aburtov. And a cover by Ken Lashley on art and Ron Fernandez on covers. This ties into some of the previous other Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe books. They finally overcome, they defeat him, kind of, because the only way to get rid of him is to ship him out into space. It's a trend. They do it often. But when he gets into space, they find out, like, well, instead of endangering just Earth, they're endangering the entire universe. And a lot of the Marvel's cosmic characters have to now deal with the Godzilla threat. There'll be 4 open order covers to go along with this. One by David Marquez, foil version. One by Jose Maria Casanova. One by Paulo Sakuro, cosmic variant. And a Ryan Stegman variant. There'll be 2 incentives. 1 in 25 by Bjorn Berens. And 1 in 100 of the Ryan Stegman, but a virgin. The final book from Marvel in this segment is Planet of the Apes versus the Fantastic Four, number 1. $4.99 for 32 pages. It's going to be a 4-issue series. Written by Josh Trujillo, art by Andrea DeVito, and a cover will be by Greg Land on art and Rochelle Rosenberg on colors. It is what it sounds like. It's a crossover between Planet of the Apes and Fantastic Four. There'll be 3 open order covers. One by Francesco Mobley, a Versus variant, German Peralta homage variant, and a Phil Noto movie homage variant. You can see them up there and see if you could guess what they're homaging. And there'll be 1 incentive, a 1 in 25 by Netho Diaz. Ignition has a new number 1. Actually, there's 2 new number 1s. Ripcord, number 1. $4.99 for 32 pages. I don't know how long it's going to last because I didn't find any information. Written by Colin Bunn. Art by Anike Moralenam. Colors by Patricia Martin Samanagel. Letters by Edward Design. Cover by Jorge Fornes. There'll be 1 open order variant, a cover B by Anike Moralenam, and 1 incentive, cover C, 1 in 10 by Inaki Miranda. They're also doing a series called Love Ignited 2026. Number 1, it's $7.99 for 32 pages, and it's going to be a one-shot. It's going to have 2 stories in it. First story by Patrick Horvath on writing and art by Chris Burnham. Patrick Horvath, of course, I mentioned earlier. He's the creator of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And story 2 is written by Olivia Ducount and art by Danny. There'll be 1 open order cover to go along with this, a cover B by Martin Morazzo, and 1 incentive, a cover C, a 1 in 10 by David Talaski. Next up, Antarctic has another yearbook that ties into its Ninja High School property. Ninja High School Yearbook 2026, number 1. $6.99 for 46 pages. It's going to be a one-shot. Writing and art, and the stories will be done, these will be doing at least 1 story to get, like, all by themselves, both writing and art. Is Danielle Connor, Danny Verbert, LHB, Patricia Krumpich, and Teresa Rose. And there'll be another story that's going to be written by Dylan Fagan, and art by Ben Ergel. The cover will be by Ronjo Murphy. There'll be one other cover, a cover B by Daniel Coronado. Dark Horse has a new series coming out. It is Night City, number 1, $4.99 for 32 pages. It's going to be a 3-issue series. Writing and colors will be by Matt Kind. Art and cover will be by David Lapham. And the letters will be by Josh Reed. Thankfully, Dark Horse does not believe in variant covers, so therefore and forthwith, we do not get one. Next up, Fantagraphics is coming out with Butch, a Hate comic, number 1. This is a tie-in to Peter Bag's Hate series, featuring one of the characters in his own solo. It appears to be a one-shot. It's going to be $5.99 for 24 pages. Yes, Fantagraphics has all those comic strip things that they have to do, and a whole bunch of like other out there kind of esoteric adult things that they have to pay for. Writing, art, and cover will be done by Peter Bag, who is the creator of the concept. Image has a new series coming out, Dork, number 1. $3.99 for 24 pages. Writing, art, and colors by Brett Bean. And internal colors and cover will be by Jean-Francois Berlou. Letters will be by Nate Pierkos. This is a fantasy story about a creature that is half dwarf, half orc, hence the dork. There will be 3 open orders going along with this. Cover B by Jorge Corona, cover C by Jason Howard, and cover F will be blank. Cover E will be blank. Actually, that'd be cover F will be blank. 2 incentives. The cover D will be a 125 Ryan Otley wraparound variant, and a cover E will be a 150 Ryan Stegman variant. There'll be 1 retail exclusive to go along with this series, Tell Comics Chrissy Zulo Uminga variant. Only has a new installment of its Autumn Kingdom property, The Autumn Kingdom, The Wraithbound Queen, number 1. $4.99 for 32 pages. It's going to be a 4-issue series. Written by Colin Bunn. Art and cover by Christopher Minton. There'll be 2 open orders going along with this. Cover B by Morgan Beam, and cover C by Ron Moore. There are also 2 incentives. Cover D by Morgan Beam Virgin. It's going to be 1 in 10 variant. And at 1 in 20, cover E by Christopher Minton, black and white. Tidal Wave has gone away from publishing Fame comics. They're done. They're instead going to Tribute Comics, which is the same difference, only it appears that the main person is dead. Tribute. Fusajiro Yamaguchi, the founder of Nintendo, number 1. This man, Nintendo, in case you don't realize, it wasn't just spring up in like 1980s and did the NES and the SNES and the Nintendo 64 and Wii and whatnot. They date back all the way to the early part of the century, and the creator was actually born in the 1890s, and he died in 1940. So he's been way off this planet for a long time. But this one will give him a little tribute to him and stuff like this. He probably didn't, like when he died, they had no inkling that Mario was even going to be existing. So this would be an interesting kind of way to see how they do that. But it's $8.99 for 26 pages, and it's a one-shot. Unless it comes in the hardcover and it comes with like an actual video game you could play in your SNES, it's not worth it. Written by Darren G. Davis, art by Igor Ciccarini, and cover will be by Pablo Martinea. There will be 1 retail exclusive to go along with this, because there always is. Collector Cave Heroes Con Matthew Waite's variant. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a variant for the Heroes Con that is coming up, but it's a little late for one that passed by a couple months ago. And those are all the original number 1s. Now we're going to get into a part I told you about originally, the Let's Try This Again.
Again!
All right, we have 4 repeat visitors here in our little thing. First off, Robin Hood, going in backwards order, I guess. Shadow Target number 1. This is from Cinescope. I covered it on December 3rd, 2025. Actually, the video that covers the new releases for 12/3/2025. It's not didn't actually air on that date. It was actually posted on that date, so don't look for that date in the postings thing. Look for that in the actual, like, you know. All right, next we have two from Skyclad. Both were I covered in the new releases for the week of 1/21/2026. Not even a couple weeks later, and they're already starting to screw up. Way to go, Keen Spot. It's Skyclad and Club Zodiac, #1, both of them. If you want to go back to that, you could see what I had to say about both of them. Skyclad has a whole bunch of naughty covers, which are covered up with little censored sign on there. So if that's your thing, maybe you should go back and see that. I'm not saying, I don't judge, I just provide. And finally, Gargoyles Darkwing Duck #1, Dynamite, 1/14/2026 is when I covered this. It is a crossover between two Disney animated properties that Dynamite has license for. It appeared on, like I said, for the new releases of January 14th, 2026. I think it actually was scheduled for last week too. So this is like the third week it's coming on here. This is why I don't pick up Dynamite books, because this might not be nothing to do with Dynamite's fault. There might be licensing stuff. There might be one panel on one page that Disney goes like, that doesn't look like Darkwing Duck. You need to change it, and they have to send it back and go back. It's still not right. You have to do it again and go back and forth. And this obviously will delay the final product hitting store shelves. So who knows? But as such, you don't really want to have. If I had this being the book of the week on the 14th, it'd be 2 weeks of embarrassment for me. So just to explain why Dynamite gets the short end of the stick, so to speak. All right, next up, final issues. DC Comics is bringing one of its DC KO tie-ins to an end, and I hope this means that the long National Nightmare is coming to a close fairly soon. It is DC KO Night Fight #4, $3.99 for 32 pages, written by Joshua Williamson, art and a cover by Dan Mora, and the colors will be by Tricia Farrell. I think that's it. This is, of course, the end. Batman got killed at the beginning of DC KO. Spoiler for those who have not seen that issue. And, if not, why not? And if it's a spoiler and that you're upset about, why didn't you read it in the first place? But I digress. But it didn't actually kill him. It took him to a side quest where he has to fight every future Robin who has become Batman of their time and defeat them. It kind of hits that he has to kill them, but that, of course, is, don't hold them to their word on that, because it doesn't work in the main series. This is the finale where he has to go up against his son, Damian Wayne, and defeat him, but by defeating him will ruin the peaceful Gotham City that he has managed to build over years as Batman. There could be potential for drama and interest there, but I can't be bothered. Your mileage may vary. There'll be 3 other covers to go along with this. Cover B by Chris Burnham, cover C by Yasmin Putri, and a cover D by Dustin Nguyen. And also, coming to an end is Teen Titans Go, #12. This is the 3rd or 4th installment of this covering of the Cartoon Network adaptation of the Teen Titans franchise. Somebody on the comment section for this issue crowed that, hey, Spider-Man and Wolverine only got 10 issues, but Teen Titans Go got 12. Congratulations, Teen Titans Go. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see this again in comic books soon. I believe it's still popular. Probably not as popular as it was a couple years ago. My daughter loved it when she was a kid. Of course, she's 16 now, and she doesn't like those things anymore. But so I don't even know if it's still going on. But if it is, it might come back. If not, well, congratulations for being Spider-Man and Wolverine. Looks like $2.99 for 32 pages, written by Charlie Fish, art and cover by Dario Bruzuela, and the colors in the inside and outside of the book will be by Franco Riesco. Marvel is bringing back Spirits of Violence to an end with #5, $3.99 for 32 pages, Written by Saber Pizzata. Art by Paul Davidson. Inks by Bernardino Bravo. Colors by Andrew Dahlhaus. Letters by Travis Lanham. And the cover will be by Kendrick Lum. To be one other cover, a cover by Chris Companion. Image is Ending Inferno Girl, Red, Book 2, with issue number 3. $4.99 for 56 pages. Thumbs up, Image. Written by Matt Groom. Art and cover by Erica D'Urso, and letters by Bella Carey. One open order cover. Cover B by Holly Renee Blake Way. One incentive. Cover C, a 1 in 10 by Jomi Gayong. I'm sorry. IDW is bringing Event Horizon Dark Descent to number 5. $4.99 for 32 pages. Written by Christian Ward. Art by Tristan Jones. Colors by Pip Martin. And a cover by Jeffrey Allen Love. There'll be one open order cover. Cover B by Derek Robinson. One incentive, a 125 by Derek Robinson, Virgin. And one retail exclusive, Sweet Thieves Campon Johnson variant. Mad Cave is bringing 2 issues to an end, and thankfully neither one of them have variant covers, but the names might be hard to pronounce. Eat Your Young is coming to number 6, $4.99 for 32 pages. Written by Brian Buccicello. Art colors and cover will be by Martina Monaco, and letters will be by Buddy Bedouin. Warwolf is coming to an end with number 4. $4.99 for 32 pages, written by Steve Orlando. Art by Marco Perugini. Colors by Pascal Tora. Letters by Lucas Gaston, and covered by David Talaski. Dark Horse is bringing 2 series to an end. Synthetics, Volume 1, number 4, $4.99 for 32 pages, written by J. Michael Straczynski. Art by Tony Parker, and I believe he's also doing the cover. Colors by Carrie Stachin, and letters by Steve Dutro. I believe since this is Volume 1, depending on how sales were, I don't know exactly how sales were, you might be expecting a Volume 2 sometime in the future, so keep a lookout. I will let you know if it pops up here, though, because that's what Guidelines is for. And there's canceling Space Scouts. This is their magazine-sized series. $7.99 for 40 pages. It was written by Matt Kint. It has art and cover and lettering and coloring by Dave Rubin. There will be 2 other covers to go along with this. Cover B by Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and cover C will be by Matt Kint, black and white. Titan is bringing to end Doctor Who, The Prison Paradox, number 4, $4.99 for 32 pages. Written by Dan Waters, with art by Sammy Cavella, and a cover by Sohan Yoon. There will be 2 other covers. A cover B will be a photo variant, and a cover C will be by Sammy Cavella. Panic Entertainment is bringing 2 series to end. TAMA is coming to an end with number 6. Maybe to call it Tama, I don't know. $4.99 for 32 pages. It's written by Adam Schlagman and Doug Pascoe. Art by Daniel HDR. Colors by Pete Pentazis. And letters by Pat Brousseau. The cover by Ashley Witter. There'll be one open order cover, a cover B by Daniel HDR, and one incentive, a cover C, a 1 in 10 by Tony Fleeks. Then we have Savager coming to number 3, $4.99 for 32 pages, written by Shannon Eric Denton with Dirk Blackman, art by Kuber Ball, colors by Shamiris Ball, and letters by Sal Cipriano. The cover by Cal Holtz. Alright, that's the end for final issues. There is one, however, in the... Let's try this again.
Again!
The one that's coming to end is Whatever Happened to Crimson Justice, number 5. This is from Mad Cave. I originally covered it in the guiding lines for the new releases coming out on January 14th, 2026. So if you want to find out about this final issue, there's really not much there because of Mad Cave. There's not really variant covers or anything like that. But if you want to go back and find out what I said about it, January 14th, 2026, the new releases for that date. And that brings us to facsimiles. There's one facsimile today. It's listed under DC, but it could have been listed under Marvel as well. It's DC Marvel present Superman and Spider-Man Treasury Edition #1. This is a facsimile of the second pairing between the two heroes, again paving the way for their reunion crossover that's coming up in a couple of months. You'll have 4 variants on this. You're going to have a regular facsimile. It looks just like it was back in the day, only more expensive and on better paper, I believe. A foil version, which is the same version only with the foil cover, which you're not going to see here because they don't really show up on scanners that well. There's going to be a cover C, which is a cover redo by Brian Bolland, which I might actually have to see if like my finances allow. Try to get that. I love Brian Bolland as an artist. He's really great, and I love it when he does like cheeky kind of almost just this. And the final one will be a blank one, in case you want your own favorite artist to do a pairing of Superman and Spider-Man. So what do you think about this week? Do you share my thoughts on DCKO, or are you really enjoying it? Do you see its flaws, or do you think it doesn't have any flaws and I'm just being a big old pooey head? Let me know in the comments, respectfully please. I do not want to be yelled at. I trust me, I'm having a really bad span of a couple days and weeks and months and years. So having you yell at me is not going to get the desired response that you expect. And that's not a threat. That's just probably me crying online, like, why is it? Is there any other stuff that you picked up that I mentioned that you're going to pick up because of this video? Are there any stuff that you think is coming out that I might have missed that you want to give a heads up on there? I go by the League of Comic Geeks, but I usually go there like about a week and a half before the actual due date, because this takes a lot of time getting all the images and doing Photoshop on the images and doing all the research and doing all kinds of stuff. It takes a lot of time to put together. It's very long in the editing process, especially if it goes over an hour, like this one might be. So, mea culpa, mea culpa. Let me know in the comments or anything like that. If you like this segment, subscribe. I do this every Friday. It seems to do very well in my numbers. So if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll love that. That helps with the algorithm, and I appreciate it greatly. That's all for this time. Until I see you next, keep on collecting.